big smile. His face looked
No,
like he
he
was like,
looked
"Oh, you
so excited.
motherfuckers don't know what's coming. You guys are going to be so happy from this announcement." Like that's what his energy showed. And then he just waved, and then he waved again, and he was just gone. And then they brought the hostess out, and she was still like, "And let's reflect on this wonderful world where everyone's expectations were met and everything was great and it was the biggest worlds ever." It's like, how can you put a smile on your face knowing you are about to fuck over every single person in the Pokemon community?
Let's hope the internet doesn't mess up this time. We had a horrible start, and then my internet decided to disconnect completely for a good 20 seconds. Welcome back to RMTS 154. This past couple weeks have been absolute hell, so I apologize for last week. That is completely on me. I'm going through lots of shit. I could talk about a little bit of it, but I can't talk about all of it. Erlis, how's your past couple weeks going? Because
Sorry to hear that. I thought we were just like, if it's no guest, we're just not going to bother with a podcast sometimes, and depends on the news.
I'm trying to keep it like 85% or so, regardless of if we don't have a guest, we have a show going up, because I think that consistency will be what pushes it forward. Like PKA doesn't cancel because they don't have a guest,
Mm-hmm.
or they a lot of shows bulk record and stuff like that, so that way they have guests always. But I don't think that that's just scrap it because there isn't anything. We've been told, oh, we could create a radio show where we could just sit there and rip on idiots every single day and it'd be fine. So I think us going every single week is as acceptable as possible. But sometimes, man, I know our mental health fucking struggles some days, and some days fucking suck.
I
I'd
just
rather
don't
just,
want to be bothered. And sometimes I'm just like, I just
oh, I
want to play
know.
Pokemon and League of Legends today.
It's one of those days, man. And I'm trying to force myself on this camera. And I think I'm not trying to make sure that comes across. As always, check out G Fuel, check out the merch, check out everything else. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Um, Code RMTS at checkout for the G Fuel.
It's a
I've
BOGO right now.
It is. It is. I didn't actually get a link, surprisingly, but whatever. It is what it is.
Put my
Go
link in
use
there.
our
Boom.
RMTS. Yep. Go get the BOGO. Use one of our links. Use
Mm-hmm.
one of our codes. But no, it's been a really fucking weird time, and I'm getting shit on in 2 different ways right now, so it's kind of weird as a whole. Like, a lot of the PK subreddit right now are shitting on me because of not being right at my computer for 4 hours guaranteed on every single second. And it's weird. It's honestly weird because right now, as a whole, the past 3 years of my life have been some of the hardest times, and all of it's been on camera or behind a camera. So, like, think of your worst day where you're working and you're like, I don't want to be here. It's not even that I don't want to be here. It's that my mind is fucking jumping all over the place. And it's one of the hardest fucking things to deal with dealing with going through a divorce and everything else. Like, this shit is hard. And I don't necessarily know if anybody gives a fuck or it matters, but think of your hardest fucking day at work, guys. It is hard to be creative and it's hard to force it when there's days that are struggling. And it's really fucking hard. And it's hard to be entertaining and try and force yourself to be entertaining when you're not fucking okay.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
But I think that's also like the whole thing about the real men, because real men do feel this way. Real men do need therapy in some situations. Not, I'm not like on a default like everyone needs therapy, but also like if you need it,
No,
don't be scared.
I think a lot of people genuinely do. Not everybody, but I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people do. I think there's a huge disconnect in people who feel comfortable enough saying what's wrong. And that's the bigger part of the issue is I think a lot of people will feel more comfortable talking to a third party and not either somebody in the situation or someone they already knew.
Mm-hmm.
So that way they're not already prejudged by what the hell's going on.
At some point, it feels like you're just bothering your friends, and that doesn't
Yeah.
feel good.
No, absolutely. Like I'm one of those people that will listen to absolutely everybody's problems. But I struggle fucking saying anything's going on unless like I get caught off guard and I'm just, playing video games and just venting and talking shit. But it's hard. It's hard because like I'm going through all of this and it's right in front of everybody's faces. And it's like I can't publicly talk about every single little bit of everything. And that sucks because I'm very, very open. So I try and just stay away from all of it because it's easier to kind of curtail exactly what you're going to say when it's not the exact thing that you're not able to talk about. Like I could talk about video games, I could talk about Pokemon and be completely fine. But if it goes into anything philosophical right now, it's like, well, this shit sucks. Life fucking sucks right now. And it's just like, it's hard. It's hard to kind of fully be open and not be open and try and be transparent, but walk it back to a point where it's acceptable. It's weird.
Yeah, that is a content creator dilemma. And now that like RMTS is actually becoming something more serious and getting like views that are like, whoa, wait a second, we're not supposed to be doing this good, but we are because we're earning it. It's like, oh, now these things actually kind of matter, and you have to try to put in the quality or actually have to try to work for it.
Yeah, and especially when I'm getting shit on at work too. It's like,
Hmm.
and not even by the people I work for. It's the people that watch the content, and it's like, boys, I love you. I don't care. Like, shit on me all you want. I'm a fucking retard on the internet who makes dick jokes for a living, who talks shit and literally just gets away with whatever the fuck's going on. Fine. You can not like me. That's absolutely fine. But creative burnout fucking sucks. Realize that it fucking sucks. Realize that I bring a lot to the fucking table for a lot of different things.
Hmm.
All that merch and everything that's about to be launched, I did all of it. So I'm just extremely, extremely fucking burnout between emotional burnout and creativity burnout. I am burnt, and I am burnt like a motherfucker right now. I'm the corner of the brownie that's stuck to the pan and won't come out.
I don't like that because you usually just have to do a whole dishwasher load to deal with that.
I
Ooh,
actually, I was
there might be something there. Wait a second, the dishwasher of your mind to get. I'll think about it. I'll have it.
I actually had a crazy story about brownies and doing that exact thing once. I was there was a plate of brownies, and normally would leave them on like the counter or the on top of the stove for the next day for breakfast because why make breakfast when you could have a brownie? A brownie's about the same as a muffin, and people eat chocolate chip muffins. So bad life choice, but finally an adult. So I was like, ah, that chewy, great part of the brownie that's on the outside. I get to eat all of that this morning. So I walk out to the living room, walk out to the kitchen, and I take a steak knife. It was what was in the pan. So I was like, oh, steak knife. Just start cutting it off, cutting it off. Sitting there enjoying brownie. And I go to get the corner. And I have my hand over top of where I'm cutting on the fucking the glass pie pan. And I went chink and stuck my fucking thumb with a steak knife all the way down to the bone in my thumb. And holy fucking hell, I've never felt so weird in my life. I have zero problems with blood. Zero. And I have a very, very fucking high pain tolerance. I looked down at my thumb, went yink, and now I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then lightheaded and pass out on the floor within seconds.
Wow.
Just what the fuck's going on?
Hmm.
I stand back up, start washing off my hand. I'm like, babe, you need to get up. Why? I stabbed myself. Like, that's not a way you want to wake somebody up either, because my wife was sleeping on the couch. I go to urgent care. They're like, you need stitches. I was like, I've never had stitches. I'm not having stitches. I got cut by a steak knife. Like, there's zero reason to stitch this up. Can we just like tape it closed and leave it the fuck alone for a little bit and it'll heal? So they're like, yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, sure.
So I go home, probably about 2 weeks. My thumb is still fucking throbbing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna rewrap it from what they wrapped it with, and just I taped up my entire thumb. I was like, fuck it. I have to work with it. I have to be able to do things with it. I can't just stop working because I cut my thumb at home. So I rewrap it with medical tape and then electrical tape over top of that with
Oh, I thought it
plug
was going
over
to be
top of
worse
it.
than that. Like, oh, no stitches. You didn't change the band-aids for 2 weeks, and like your thumb's just black.
No, as far as like medical things, I'm very, very on top of things because my mom was a nurse, so I know exactly how to handle things and kind of be on top of things. And my wife was a nurse, a nurse's aide for a while too. So medical stuff, I'm kind of on top of that as much as a normal person can be, and probably a little bit more. So I'm like, this really fucking hurts. But medical shit, not dealing with it, not getting stitches. I don't want to deal with this. So Advanced Warfare was out at the time. So I was playing a shit ton of that. And it's on my right. Yeah, it's on my right thumb. Oh, you can see the scar still. right? That's coming across.
Mm-hmm.
So if you remember Advanced Warfare, you're double dashing with sprint and everything else and jumping around. So I'm tearing my thumb every single time I'm playing Call of
So I'm
Duty.
like,
It's
you're not
bleeding.
playing video games on this thumb, are you?
Oh,
And
I
then wondering why it's
absolutely am.
not healing.
No, it didn't heal for a year. The entire next year, I have an open cut on my thumb. I'm changing the bandages every couple days and everything else, taking complete care of it. I'm like, this is weird. It's not healing. There's shit hanging out of my thumb now. Let's go to the ER because probably should. I go into the ER. They're like, Zach, this is the cleanest cut we've ever seen ever. When did this happen? I was like, 9 months, a year ago. Like, what are you talking about? I cut it with a brownie knife. They're like, you cut yourself with a steak knife a year ago, and it's still, you just have muscle hanging out of your thumb. So they taped it back up. Same exact thing I was doing. Pushed back in the muscle in my thumb, and they're like, okay, it'll heal in a week. Don't worry about it. 0 stitches. Had 0 problems with it. They gave me liquid stitches. They glued it back closed, but like it healed within a week after that. Still played video games, still did everything. But yeah, had an open fucking cut and muscle hanging out of my thumb for a good year.
I'm surprised you didn't even think to like super glue it at some point.
I did. Like, and that's the crazy thing is like it just didn't want to heal. And it was probably Advanced Warfare absolutely taking a toll on my thumb. But yeah, it didn't want to heal. Between that and then having to work and wet my hands and do all that shit. Like I was wearing 2 pairs of gloves when I would go to work because I was working in a deli at the time. So having to do dishes and everything else with, an open cut on your hand probably isn't always the most fun thing in the world.
It's definitely not going to help with healing.
No, definitely not. Wet, dry, wet, dry, wet, dry.
Why
Then you have to
do
change gloves
women live longer than men?
because men absolutely don't care. But yeah, it's brownies,
Yeah.
man. You got to
That
get that
reminds
crusty
me
part.
of one time when I had like kitchen shears and I cut like this part of my palm. Because I don't remember what I was doing. I was just doing something and just went shh. And there was like a V gash like that. It's not that it didn't heal. It was just like the weirdest injury to just like see and be like, oh, that's kind of bad. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this. And then just like keeping it wrapped up for like 2 weeks until it healed. Everything's good now. I was just like, huh, that weird kitchen
Did you
injuries. What's like, I hate
did you
those
ever
little
have a
cuts.
bruise or something that just never went away?
No.
Like, so I was I was like 12, 13, and I had a mountain bike and I loved jumping and doing all that shit because I wanted to do BMX and everything else. But I was a dipshit and had the wrong bike, whatever. And I had these 3 stumps in my front yard and they were kind of lined up so you could like jump across them and have some fun and shit like that. And I went up one of them and my handlebars caught and it fucking came back and smacked me in my stomach. And it wasn't like the entire handlebar came back. It was like the end of it. It caught my ribs and like ripped off. I had that bruise for like 8, 9 months too. Like just never fucking healed. And then like the discoloration of the skin stayed there for like a good 2.5 years. I was like, what the fuck is this? Did I have
That
like
sounds
some
like
sort
a
of a beating
very
that just
bad, very
never went
serious
away?
injury.
What the fuck? I have no idea. Zero idea. Never went to the doctor for it because who the fuck goes to the doctor for a bruise? But like as a whole, it's like, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened?
Something did not, like, something ruptured in there. Hi, dog.
But yeah, like what the fuck? What could that have been? Who the fuck knows? And I was telling my daughter that story the other day, and I was like, that's bad. My mom
That's
should have
really
been
bad.
like, hospital now. Like, what the fuck? But yeah,
Or at least after a
was,
week where it's like, that bruise ain't doing anything. You are very hurt.
yeah, like think right underneath your ribs, like right here. That's spleen, that's appendix, that's a whole
I
bunch
mean,
of
like,
other
you have
shit.
organs in there that are bruised now.
Like who the fuck, like was it bruised organs? Was it
Had to have
fucking
been.
blood pooling? Who the fuck is going, who the fuck knows? But that it was about like this big and stayed there for a good 2 years after some point. And it was fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
Could just ruptured and just been, like, oozing out for months.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm so tired. I just have, internal bleeding that hasn't killed me yet, 15 years later, but, still here. 17 years, not 15. So did you hear about the shit with Disney that went on?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
So do you want to lay out what happened with them so that way people kind of
Yeah,
get a
I
grasp?
think the rough rundown is like some dude's wife ate at one of the restaurants and was like, "Hey, I need a very," or maybe it was his
I think
sister
it
as
was she
well.
was like she was anaphylactic to like peanuts or milk or something like that.
Yeah.
What on this menu can I eat? They gave her
Well, I'm
suggestions.
thinking about who like reported it because yeah, like some chick she went to a Disney restaurant and had like severe allergies and was like, "Hey, don't serve me this." Well, she ended up dying because they served her that stuff. And then it's whoever's filing the suit, like the husband is
The
filing the
husband
suit.
filed the suit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Disney said, "Well, you signed up for Disney Plus and there's a non-arbitration clause in there." Or is it non-arbitration or
It
something
is
else?
arbitration.
Just arbitration, yeah.
Yeah, it forces it to an arbiter instead of going through court. But the crazy thing is not only is it in Disney Plus, it's also in the availability for their tickets to purchase them as well.
Yeah.
So then it gets into the really convoluted, disgusting waters of mass, law. But the crazy thing is she asked the fucking waiter, "What can I eat here so that way I do not get sick?"
Well, also
They
just like making
guaranteed the
it really
food.
clear.
Yeah, like she did everything she could. It's not like the husband asked, "Hey, what can I eat? What can she eat here?" because she can't
Hmm.
fucking figure it out. And they gave her the wrong plate. No, that's the plate that they suggested for her allergy. And that to me is the weird part.
And they specifically went to the restaurant that's like really good about catering to special food needs.
Yeah. So I guess somewhere in their terms of service for both their tickets and Disney Plus, which would also include Hulu Plus and ESPN Plus. So all of you guys, all of you, gym nerds that's like, oh yeah, I watch MMA. This shit can happen to you too.
Hmm.
Um, in their terms of service, there's a whole bunch of shit where you're not allowed to sue them. They're not at fault for anything that happens there. They're
No
not at
matter how
fault for anything
negligent
that goes on.
with
Yeah,
this story.
they can be completely in the wrong and negligent. Their argument is not that they were not negligent, it's that you do not have a right to sue them.
Hmm.
But this shit ties so far back to me. Remember when Xbox was like, "Hey, look, you can share your games with your friends and you could pass on titles and everything else on console through the cloud and shit." How many terms of service do people not read now that they're like, "Oh fuck, what the hell's actually going on?" Because I genuinely wonder what other companies are fucking us like this. Is Steam fucking us? Is places like Xbox or PlayStation still fucking us?
I'm
There was a
surprised that
long
no
time.
one has like just read through everything and like someone on Reddit just like, oh, by the way, every company does this. Here's the list. Or like there isn't a website right now of like arbitrationgamefuckery.com, and it's like, yeah, this is everyone that has an arbitration clause inside of their TOS because like anyone can read it right now for anything and then find out. But also a lot of people like kind of ignore it because to a degree, like legally, they can't do that. Like if you have an outrageous term inside of a contract, that isn't enforceable. Like you can't, like a contract can't say you owe me your liver and then they take your
Exactly.
liver.
Even on an easier bit, YouTube wise, you had Machinima who tried perpetuity contracts. They
Hmm.
said, "Okay, we'll pay you at this rate every single day for the rest of the time that your YouTube channel is on." And then all of a sudden, you're signing children to contracts, and all of a sudden, that doesn't work out too well. It's weird that we're still dealing with contract disputes and contract problems in 2024. It's
Hmm.
weird that we have people, uh, fucking companies that are allowed to essentially kill you going into a situation like this. And it's not, a clean cut deal of, yeah, we were negligent. Let's handle the
Yeah.
problem.
Their lawyers are walking in saying like, well, we're not at fault here because they have Hulu from 2019. So they're
Yeah.
never allowed to sue us for any reason. And somehow the judge doesn't say $1 million just on the spot.
No, and that's crazy. Like you look at my workers' comp case. when you started working where I was working, and this will probably give it away, they're like, if you ever have an injury, no matter what it is, if it's a slip and fall, you break your foot, you break your arm, whatever it is, we have to take $50,000 out of the safe, and then it becomes your money to be set aside for your injury to make sure you're taken care of. Just $50,000, regardless of what it is. It's a blanket thing on top of all of the merchandise, whatever we lose because you're off of the floor. And when I filled out that workers' comp paperwork, I was berated the entire time I was filling it out because he took it as a personal attack on him. It's like, bud, this is a multi-billion-dollar company. How is this your problem? You, as a human, should be looking at me and being like, okay, your injury is real. If you believe me, and after that point, you should be on my team. It shouldn't be me versus you. Guess what? It cost you your job because you wanted to be a douchebag.
Mhm.
It's crazy the terms of service that some of these companies have. Oh, talk about this, you're fired. Do this, you're sued. What the fuck is going on? Because we're losing, we're supposed to be the freest country in the world, but yet we're losing that freedom every single time we sign up for something. We could lose our life because we go to Disney World and say that it's not their fault because they have it in their terms of service. I hope this goes to the Supreme Court. I hope that this isn't settled. I hope
Well,
that it fucking blows it up.
I think like even if like let's say this gets overturned or something, or arbitration can't be enforced for whatever reason and sets some kind of precedent, I think like you're still at risk by going to Disney World because of the ticket. Like if there's some kind of malfunction, Disney is not going to open themselves up to too much liability,
And how does that
regardless of how this
work?
goes.
Because, like, obviously, there's amusement parks everywhere. That insurance has to be fucking through the roof. Like, logically, you have hundreds of thousands of people riding rides that go
The
upside down.
insurance is for the lawyers, not you.
Yeah, exactly. The insurance isn't for you. The insurance isn't if you die or get hurt. So, as a whole, what part of this is the problem here? They have to protect you in these situations. It has to be a level of a service that you're given so that way you're not in danger.
Well, I think the problem is like how detached it is, where it's like Hulu restaurant allergy somehow they
And
made that shit, or
I
not
also heard
Hulu,
this
Disney Plus, whatever.
I also heard this argument because the husband was the one that signed up for the Disney
Yeah,
Plus account and the husband was the one that purchased the tickets. It does not get enforced on her. And I'm like, how the fuck does that work? How is it so minuscule and so broken down and so direct that it's like this thing controls everything else in the situation. If if your wife purchases the tickets and she dies, you get nothing. What? What? And because it's an accident, health insurance and life insurance doesn't fucking cover it. It's not risk management insurance. Like, what the fuck's going on? Because these are the people that need the help. Like, not
yeah.
the people that are sue happy and just sue everybody always. Like, what the fuck is this, man?
See, it does go both ways because the consumers have also abused these privileges with frivolous lawsuits that have just spun around. Everyone's a fucking piece of shit. How about that?
No, it is. Like I don't know about you. When I was a kid, I remember giggling because it was this product is hot on coffee cups from McDonald's. And now as an adult, you find out that no, that lawsuit and everything else was the most legitimate lawsuit of all time.
Yeah.
But how many times as kids were we told, "Oh, that's some crazy lady sued McDonald's because her
Exactly.
coffee
Like
was
that
a
was
bit
the
too hot?"
example of a frivolous lawsuit. And if you grow up in a very low income household, that was the dream of your parents. Was like, oh, if only we could get us one of those.
No, my mom told me that shit was crazy. Like that was ridiculous and there's zero reason for it. It's like, wait, guys, that's kind of a logical one. That's the one that makes sense. What are you talking about? I don't know, man. Like, was my lawsuit frivolous? Was my lawsuit ridiculous? I don't understand, man. Like at some point you have a right to be a human. At some point there's availability to make it so that way you're whole, and when you're taken from being whole, you should be reimbursed for that. But at the same time, man, some of this shit's gross. You can die in Disney World now and not get a single dime, and your family will never know. It's crazy.
Or your
But
family does the suit and they don't see any money for your loss as well.
so speaking of lawsuits, did you see the Call of Duty news that happened last week?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a mod remaster of Modern Warfare 2 that they were building off of the Call of Duty remastered engine from, I believe, 2017. And they built it from the ground up. COD 4 remastered went on sale, and they're like, hey, we're going to release it at the end of the sale. We're like, guys, we're going to do this the right way, and this isn't going to get taken down. We're going to release this after the sale, so that way everybody can purchase the game at a lower price and get Call of Duty sales up. Call of Duty 4 remastered reaches, I believe, number 3, possibly number 1 in sales for that week. A dead game that has had no player base ever on PC because it was an add-on game. No player base at all. All of a sudden reaches top 5 on Steam sales. They're like, God damn, guys, we reinvigorated an entire community. This game just, it did something after not doing anything ever. They're like, guys, we received a cease and desist 12 hours before the game was supposed to launch. They're like, we can't release it. It's weird. They have mod tools for World at War and Black Ops 3. Mod tools are allowed on those games. But anything that touches Modern Warfare 2 gets flagged automatically. You guys might be like, oh, Zach, you're crazy. No, this is where it gets weird. IW4X was a mod that I played all of the fucking time. I loved IW4X. It was a Modern Warfare 2 reboot. It was essentially just a launcher with stuff, and you were able to play it for free. Fantastic. Yes, let's play it. Gets taken down by a cease and desist last year. Okay. Maybe they're taking down all of them. Plutonium, which is for Black Ops 2, has been up this entire time, has not been flagged, is not gone, and it was bigger than IW4X the entire time. Why do they give so much of a fuck about Modern Warfare 2 that they're like, you know what, guys, we're going to flag these ones and that's it? I don't understand. When Modern Warfare 2 is not safe to play on PC at all. It's just not. It gives up your IP address. It gives up all of your information, everything.
That's the weird thing about like the Pokemon company with me because there's a million ROM hacks out there, but every once in a while you only hear of like one site getting taken down, like Relic Castle. But it's like, what about the other 10,000 that are hosting Pokemon ROM hacks? Why did only Pokemon Uranium go down when you should just take out everything and then grab Pokemon Showdown 2 just to be safe? Like, I don't understand the enforcement, even though I agree with it. Where it's like, okay, if you say no modding and someone mods, take it down. That's fair. But if you're inconsistent about it, you just piss me off. Where it's like you need to lock down your shit. So that's why
Exactly.
with
And
this Modern Warfare 2 thing, it's like, oh, everyone knows you can't do this. There's been cease and desist before. Why is everyone so surprised? But then hearing like other launchers and stuff that haven't gone down, it's like, okay, now I'm just confused, even though it's still the right call because I'm anti-mod.
that's where it gets hard. So say Diamond and Pearl were what, 20 years ago now?
No,
Say
17.
Yeah, I was fucking close. I didn't even play Diamond and Pearl, and I just threw a year out there and hoped it was close. Say that they were unplayable and they didn't make a remake of them and everything else. Say after like the 6th gym, the game fucking breaks and you can't play it. So you get a bad egg and you can't catch anything, however you want to say it. What if a mod came out to fix that? Is that mod just as bad as what, a ROM hack is? Are those two things the same to you, or is fixing the game
but also we
beneficial?
don't like that analogy doesn't exist in anything.
I know it doesn't work with Pokemon because
Well, not even
Pokemon
but not
isn't
even most games. Like there's that one, what is it, like Battle Cats, where like after level 3 it just like fucking freezes for the Sega Genesis or something. Like you
Yeah.
actually cannot play to level 4.
No, and that's why I think that Modern Warfare 2 is weird. It's like a lot of the base mods that people release, whether it's IW4X or this one, which this one ended up getting released and now everybody's playing it regardless, is like these things fix the game to the point where it's playable. Why is that as a mod not
Mhm.
okay? And that's where
Also,
my question is.
are there any other game examples where it's like, oh, it's actually unplayable without mods, except for like maybe a defunct server kind of game? Because your example, like, oh, after 6 gem, it just breaks your game, or you just randomly have like a chance to get a bad egg or something. It's like I don't think there's really any examples
That
where like,
that's why it's hard to compare it to Pokemon,
yeah,
but I knew Pokemon was the easiest place
well, not
to
even
because
Pokemon,
of
just like
ROM hacks and
any
stuff like that.
any game or
Yeah,
series out there.
it would be like if Skyrim had a break, so the mods fixed it, or
Hmm.
Fallout had a break, so the mods fixed it.
Isn't
And
Skyrim modding allowed by the devs though?
yes,
So
that's the problem is like they
that's my
pick and
line.
chose World at War and Black Ops 3 for there to be a full entire mod tool suite. Like it's not even you have to go make one. It's there for you. Every single person can use mods and every single person has the tools available to them. So why is Modern Warfare 2 not allowed? For a client just to be made so that way it's safe to play and it fixes and gives the patches that never got added. What happens if the 1887s never got modded or fixed? Okay, now it's fixed. Isn't that a much better game? Wouldn't you want your game to be remembered in a positive light? And that's where it's weird to me. It's like, guys, we still want to play Modern Warfare 2. We still want you to fix the servers. You won't fix the servers. You're saying that it's against the game. Okay, do you want the series to die because you don't want to let people play the game that they want? Like, how many people go back and play Pokemon Platinum or something like that because that's the game that they love? What
Hmm.
happens if you can't do that? What happens if all of a sudden after 6 years they're like, no, we turned it off?
That's the devs made it. They could take it out of this world too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I just think it's weird when you allow it in some places and don't allow it in
Yeah,
others.
that's like it's weird, but I also don't think that makes like modding more right. I'm just like, okay, then crack down harder, devs. Like if
No,
people are breaking the rules, punish them or
and if
don't
that
allow.
was like, say they allowed modding for Fire Red and Leaf Green, and that's the only generation that they allowed it for, and somebody made a Gen 6 mod. Okay, why is the Gen 6 mod down if they allow tools for the games themselves? Is the fact that they are allowing mod tools on any of their games the reason why it should be okay? And
I
I
don't
think
think
that's
that would
a
be
big argument.
I don't think that would be an argument because like what if they were just experimenting where it's like, oh, all these people want modding tools, let's give it to them and see what happens. Then devs go, wait a second, we don't want this. They're bastardizing the shit out of our thing. Like at least in the case of Pokemon, where it's like, oh, they turned Fire Red, Leaf Green into something we absolutely don't want represented, and that's the most popular mod. People care more about the mod than our game. We can't do that again. So just because like it existed once doesn't mean they have to now.
And that's
Yeah.
where it's hard to try and piece together and figure out, is this a logical thing where they're like, okay, all mods should be down. Okay, then why are not all of the mods down?
Hmm.
You can't say Black Ops 2 is available because World at War and Black Ops 3 is, but Modern Warfare 2 is not. I don't understand. It's just inconsistent. And you're seeing that with a lot of shit now. Oh, why is Timmy's mom down the street allowed to make tumblers with celebrities' faces or catchphrases on them? And then the second that all of a sudden they get sued for $250,000 for copyright infringement, like these rules and these laws were made to go against other companies infringing on things, not Timmy down the street doing something. Timmy down the street is doing something wrong. I agree with you completely. But these cease and desist things that are happening are in a weird fucking place now because they are getting more and more aggressive with everything.
Well, also there's more and more accessibility. Like if you're just printing a picture of Taylor Swift and then slapping on a mug in the '90s and selling it to the neighborhood, that has no effect on the market value. But now if you're doing an Etsy shop with that shit and getting 10,000 sales a month, now you got it. Now you are effectively a business. You need to be taken down. And I think it is fair to stomp that out even as it's growing. We're just like, oh, this is getting way too much
Absolutely.
publicity, so
Did
it can't
you
exist for the consumer.
did you see the lady that was sued because of an Etsy and Amazon store by the copyright infringement law for a guy named Luke Combs? He's a country music star and stuff like that.
No.
This lady sold 5 cups. She made $210. She's like, hey guys, I made $210. I'm happy. She gets a cease and desist. She gets a lawsuit. She didn't even go to court. She was found guilty and was charged $250,000 for copyright infringement. News story hits, and Luke Combs, I guess, woke up, was scrolling through TikTok as he was shitting, as everybody does, and it pops up on his feed. Lady sued $250,000 for copyright law or whatever. And he's like, give me her number. And he gets in touch with her, fixes the entire thing, drops the entire suit, says, we're not doing this. How comfortable I am or my rights to my name isn't worth everybody in the world getting fucked over because of somebody making $2,000-$3,000. That money means nothing to me. Me getting $250,000 from that person literally means nothing to me. This is to protect against scalpers that go to concerts and sell thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of shirts at every single concert. It's not to fuck with Timmy's mom down the street. And I think that's where these mods are kind of having a problem, is like, we're not charging money for this. We're telling you to go purchase the game. If you purchase the game, at some point, there's an argument. And I don't know what that argument is because I don't agree with that argument, but there is an argument.
Mm-hmm. That's why the legality is so weird, because you can't say, like, here's the line. Once you sell $300 in counterfeit merchandise, you're now automatically, like, able to be sued. Or if you get 300 downloads, now your mod's a problem. So, like,
Exactly.
it's just
And then there's
don't
parody
do the
law.
shit they say to not do, but some people don't even know, like, they can't do it like that.
And then there's parody law. Like, if you change something slightly, it doesn't actually change the thing. They know exactly what it is. But it's something like a T-shirt with Dunkin' D's nuts and the D&D logo from fucking Dunkin' Donuts. Is that against copyright law? Technically, it is. Technically, it's also protected by parody law, and they can make money off of it, but they can be sued for copyright infringement.
That's
It's
the
like,
weird
guys,
thing about fair use, yeah.
we need some sort of directive here because this shit just doesn't make sense. There's no
Again, we
consistency
can't do
in
that
any
because
of
then
it.
the precedent will change every 3 weeks, where it's like, this lawsuit showed there's a loophole that the consumer can now just straight up steal everything, and then they overshoot, and it's like, well, now
I
you're not allowed to
agree.
make any products. So
I agree.
that's why lawyers
It's
exist,
stupid.
to they can take this ambiguity and then they can just make it weirder for whatever side they want to argue for. Like, that's all it is. Like, there's this much room in between every law, and that's what lawyers exist for. They find something to pull into that.
And it's like, the more that they fight and the more that they have availability to work in that gray area, regardless of what they're fighting for today, it's like, that's the only reason they make money, is they're able to work in between, okay, right and wrong. And
Yeah.
I'm going to be gray area and make something portrayed as right when it's wrong,
I
or
mean, they're
wrong
the
when
only
it's
ones that
right.
have the power to go into the ether and mess with that shit.
Because genuinely, like, both of us on a daily basis use fair use. Technically, if you're not given availability to your copyright for using Pokemon, they could sue you and everything else.
We are given availability through the Nintendo, like, guidelines and stuff, but yeah.
I remember I did it the logical way. I emailed Activision, was like, "Hey, is this legal to produce content for this game?" They're like, "Yes. Do whatever you would like with it."
Mm. And it was probably already in the terms of service somewhere, but as we talked about 20 minutes ago, no one reads that shit.
But it's also the logical way to go about it, because
Mm-hmm.
when you say a game like Madden that has actual music in it, technically, when you purchase that game, the copyright for that music, or if EA allows you to create content with that game, that music is technically fair use. That music
I
should be
don't
available,
think that's how that works. You're not purchasing the license to the music when you purchase the
but
game.
it's at minimum gray area. It could be argued either way. When you purchase the game, they want the music in there for that music to receive growth and plays and everything else, which is
It
why they
depends
put
on
it
the
there.
TOS. There might be some
It's
TOS that
marketing.
says, like, you do not own a license to the music inside of this. Or that's what Activision signed, and as the consumer, you don't even get to know that, even
Exactly.
though that is how it's enforced. Where it's like, Activision said, or Activision was told by the music company, you cannot transfer this license. License non-transferable, therefore it doesn't transfer to the consumer.
And
It's not great.
that's where weird games come in. Like, think about the people that would be streaming technically Guitar Hero or something like that now. Like, if Guitar Hero was big still, and it's growing much bigger than what it was with Clone Hero and everything
Mm-hmm.
else, but those things technically, that you don't have a license to play that music on your stream.
Yeah.
You could say, "Hey, here's a link to them." Are you really going to link 5,000 songs?
I mean, that's just like anyone that has copyright music for any of their content that they make. Like, it's no different just because it's
Have you
on
looked
in a
in
video game.
have you looked into the pricing for leasing music
Very
for
expensive.
a video? It's
That's why like
fucking
Nintendo
ridiculous.
doesn't even keep it up. There was something crazy where people were like, Nintendo took down their original Switch trailer. That means the Switch 2 announcement's coming. And it was like, no, the license ran out, and there's no reason to keep that going.
Mhm. Yeah, it's for a channel under 100K, I believe it's $500 for one song that you've heard on the top 40. And
Hmm.
as your viewership goes up, or as the timeline goes up, it goes up in price. And it's multiplicative, not
Hmm.
addition. It's not $5 for every 1,000 viewers. It's like $500 for every 1,000 viewers, and it gets fucking insane. Just because you want to actually look professional or sound professional, it's insane. So, what actually was going on with your stream the other night? Because I was in there and I was fucking about and watching,
Because
and it
at
seemed
Pokemon Worlds, the president of the Pokemon Company came in for the opening ceremony and said there will be news about upcoming Pokemon games at the closing ceremony. So during the closing ceremony, everyone's in there like, let's go. It's been, February, or actually, no, not like it was in February, March, April, May, June, July, August, 6 months without Pokemon news about Pokemon Legends ZA. We have had no trailers, no Pokemon Presents. We get a Pokemon Presents in June or August, always. Nothing.
Mhm.
So, like, 6 months, which, like, oh, he has to show it at Pokemon Worlds. The largest Pokemon event is, of course, going to have the trailer for the new Pokemon game. And then they didn't.
No,
They went, here's Pokemon Go, here's TCG Pocket, which looks cool, and here's Pokemon Unite. Bye.
and other than TCG Pocket, which I'm thoroughly excited for,
I'm hoping it's the next like Pokemon Go, where it's like, oh, tens of millions of daily players, let's go.
I don't think it's going to be Pokemon Go. What I think it's going to be comparative to is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and I hope that it is as playable and as like actual game driven instead of it just being a TCG rip where it's the exact same game. Make it so way it's quick and playable
They've already
within a
shown it's a
small.
mini thing where there's
Yeah,
points.
I know I like it, but I'm saying like we haven't seen enough to be like, okay, it's an exact kind of replica of this, like it's Magic Arena. No, Magic Arena is too long. You do not want games that last 45 minutes to an hour. You
No, they've
want that
already
to be quick
shown
and
a
snappy.
lot about how it plays. It's simplified mechanics. There's EX Pokemon that are worth 2 points. You play to 3 points, so no prize
Oh,
cards.
okay.
There's no prize cards, so you're not losing bullshit to your prize card pile. You're only playing half of a game, which is very similar to like Duel Links and the other ones. And
That
then
sounds fantastic then.
it's 3 points. EX are still worth 2, so like an EX and a regular Pokemon, game's over.
Yeah.
And the power level looks very dumbed down, where it's like an EX Pokemon only does 80, 90 damage on 3 energy. It's good
Yes.
Pokemon.
From what I saw, it's a lot of like if you remember the Pokemon cards that came out in our childhood, it's a lot of those cards.
Those
It's a
were
lot of the same
dog
art.
shit.
Oh, they were. I remember learning how to play Pokemon, the TCG. And me and my mom would play any energy because it's just so much easier to
Hmm.
you would have the right energy. It doesn't really matter. It's good enough, whatever. And we would sit there and play it like that. So that way we could play together. We could play with my sister, whatever. And it's easier to teach them because, oh, you have to match the colors that are here. So that way it works. But this color can be counted as any color. It gets kind of confusing when you're talking to a 6-year-old. And I love playing the TCG. I just loved it. Like it was my thing at that time. Them making it more available and on our phones and stuff like that. So that way it's not I'm playing Duel Links from 10 years ago on my toilet for 15 minutes because, I
Hmm.
want something to do is really fucking exciting to me. And the fact that
That's
they're
one thing,
bringing
like,
back that same
if
art
this is half of
is cool.
Pokemon Go
Yeah.
popularity, that's hype.
If it's the same level as Duel Links, think Pokemon has more eyes than Yu-Gi-Oh! In the card
Hmm.
game and in just media by itself. It's one of the largest media conglomerates in the world, right? I think we've had this conversation. It's like top 3 or whatever. Like think about that. How many eyes are going to play the TCG? Everybody who plays the TCG now will. A lot of people who do YouTube will test it out and try it on YouTube. Is this going to be something similar to Duel Links where it fucking
Hmm.
blew up right off the bat? Because it has a real validity to it. If there is a game level to it where this character does this thing and you can actually like meta build, it will fucking blow up because it seems like everything competitive wise, if there's a normal level to it and then a
Hmm.
competitive level to it, it blows up. If there's a ranking system, this thing's going to go.
Yeah, that's like another weird thing about Pokemon. It's like all you have to do is just make things feel more competitive and integrate that immediately because like Pokemon Go eventually got competitive, and now that shit's at Worlds. It's like even though it's like, oh,
Mhm.
TCG Pocket, I'm playing half of a mobile Pokemon TCG game. It's like that's your biggest market though, and if you make that competitive,
Mhm.
then that's actually huge. And the thing is like Pokemon TCG Live or online, like that just never went anywhere. Where you get like the codes from the packs and you build your shit online, like that
Well, from what I
is.
saw, because I was trying to find the early download for Pocket,
Mhm.
and just that way everybody knows this, when you search Pokemon TCG, Pocket is not the first one that comes up at all. Pokemon Go comes up before Pocket does. And I
Yeah,
found Pokemon Live. It's like 2 stars out of 5
that's
on the
because it's
Apple Store.
broken.
Yeah.
Well, things
So
like
I
Pokemon TCG Online was all right, and it wasn't like, oh, this is worth putting all my time into and like farming codes and stuff to
and
really build out.
it's slow. There's no game to it. It is like playing MTG Arena or
Hmm.
like playing like Master Duel on
But even then, like, if
the
it was like,
PC.
it's a Pokemon game on the PC though, so that should be everything right there. Where it's like, oh, I have accessibility to the TCG, don't have to go down to the card store, and I can still like play and farm the game. But it just didn't really become a thing. So TCG Live was supposed to upgrade that. It was in beta for like 2 years, and then just like launched buggy mess. People's cards and profiles weren't transferring over. There's no reason to play it. It just doesn't work half the time. So it's like, okay, how about this? You just make that a simpler game. You make your Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, you make your whatever. Because even now, like, no one wants to play modern Pokemon that grew up with it. Where it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to play with an EX that does 200 damage on 2 energy and has a disgustingly broken passive, and all of these other things with like supporters and X specs or A specs and all these other things.
It might sound autistic or it might sound retarded, and I'm not sure which one, or it might sound both. When you jump up the scaling in something like damage or something like that, and you look at this, if you go back to like the older Call of Duties and stuff like that, and Pokemon TCG and Yu-Gi-Oh, when you jump up the damage in something or make the damage drop down to the point where it's like, oh, you have 8 shot kills instead of 2 shot kills, it makes everything timing wise in your head kind of fuck up almost. It's like, okay, so if I put 1 energy on here, this should not be a game ender. Why is a 2 card combo
Hmm.
a game ender here? Oh, I should be using Rattata to do 20 damage because I put on 1 energy and that works. This Rattata, unless you're a fucking brain dead retard, should not win me the game unless you're drawing absolutely horribly. It just shouldn't. So when they jump up to, oh, I can place a Greninja on my bench without anything underneath of it, and I put 4 energies underneath of it in 1 turn, and there's zero problem doing either of those things, and it's within seconds and seconds, and you play 50 fucking cards in 1 turn. I love the combination of do this and then do that and do this. It gives you that like meta defining and availability to play the cards. I love playing combo decks, but you're forcing everybody out of the gameplay if you're making it so convoluted in such crazy big numbers, because it's like, what is 200 damage a lot? Is
No.
200
Mm.
HP a lot? You know what I'm saying? But in 2004 it was.
Yeah.
It was Charizard was the best card because it did 120 damage, but it was shit.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, I mean, also TCG is just like the mechanics are so power crept that it just feels unacceptable, and you can't play anything except for the top 3 decks. So the top 3 decks will have a bench full of Pokemon, like evolved Pokemon, turn 1 or 2 with their abilities. It's like, oh, I flip a coin. If I get heads, I just get 3 energy from my deck onto my main Pokemon. It's like, and then you get to roll that 4 times on turn 2. It's like
No,
that's not comboing. That's not like when you think of a combo deck, you're like, oh, I have the pieces, I have the chess puzzle, and I have to carefully
exactly.
construct this. No, Pokemon is just like coin flip. Oh, my passive failed. I bricked. GG. If not, it's like coin
That
flip heads. I auto win because all my shit just instantly automatically solves itself.
And that's why I liked playing Duel Links and Master Duel so much, was like, okay, a combo deck is I have to play this card, then I play this card. And it becomes almost formulaic where you understand exactly you're out to this problem. And it doesn't have to be playing against that specific deck or a
Hmm.
specific
Oh,
problem.
also that's another
It's
problem with Pokemon
That's how it
is not
works.
interacting with your opponent. So you just do the same thing every time. There's no disrupts.
Mhm.
There's no interrupts. It doesn't matter what your opponent's playing. Well, I
Yeah.
guess like if they have an ability, it's like your EX can't do shit. But it's like whatever. Your turn is going to go the
The only
exact same every
interactive
time.
the only interactiveness shouldn't be I shut your shit off.
Mm-hmm.
There should be interactiveness with how quick I can draw my cards, how quick I can have my outs, how quick I can be able to affect the game state. Not just I'm
Yeah.
going to play this and play that, then play this, then play that, game over.
And they have also a lot of bullshit where it's like Iono is one of the game-winning cards because like you draw based on how many prize cards you have remaining. So it's like you have a hand of 8 cards. You drop it all, and then your last card's Iono. You get 5 back. Your opponent gets 1. It's like,
Yeah.
how did you
I-
play the game? Congratulations, Pokemon's fun. I think that's what Iono does. But also, there's an ace spec called Unfair Stamp. Not even a supporter card. You just play it. You draw 4, or you discard your hand, draw 4. Your opponent draws 2. You
yeah.
just
The way that I learned, because I started watching the TCG stuff after I got back into a Link's Master Duel and stuff. I was like, oh, maybe Pokemon's actually fun. Maybe I'll learn
it's
that.
not.
Every single card that is in Pokemon, if you just reskin it and put it in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or reskin it and put it in fucking Magic, you know how broken that fucking card is? It breaks the entire fucking game, and every single card
Mhm.
is that level.
Yeah, I was
So
correct about Iono. You shuffle your hand, and then each player draws for prize cards. It's a supporter, so it's balanced. Nah.
I'm so interested to see what Pocket actually does.
Yeah, so like
As
if
long as
Pocket
it,
is fun and everyone plays it because it's worth playing and it's competitive, so people want to keep playing it.
dude, just look at Master Duel. Master Duel is a better version of MTG Arena. You could put money into it, but everything, if you play the game, can be free, which
Mhm.
is how the game should be. Just make it 80% a freemium game and make it so way if you pay, it's faster. That's all you have to do. It's not fucking
Yeah,
complex. So I am thoroughly interested to see
and
exactly
TCG's
what
already
goes on
pay
with
to
it.
win to begin with, so it's not unfair.
Yeah. But I was thoroughly surprised with their fake out too. I thought that they were going to put out more because Pokemon Go announcing a Pokemon is going to Pokemon Go. If anybody cares, I'm thoroughly surprised. I don't. There is 1,000 Pokemon within this world that they have. Why releasing 1 to 5 of them is a big update? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I remember when they would drop full generations of Pokemon and it'd be like, oh, go hunt all
Hmm.
of Gen 2. Yes, let's go. Let's go.
I
Let's
think
have
Gen 2
fun.
was starters and then a few and then everything.
Yeah,
But it
exactly.
wasn't like this where it's just like, oh, by the way, more Pico. That's your big Pokemon of the month. Form
Who
changes.
fucking cares?
Hmm.
Who fucking cares?
The Pokemon Go players apparently, because that game's still huge.
I don't understand. Using Pokemon Go to catch things to be able to play fucking online and shit with Scarlet and Violet because I didn't play all of the last 3DS games is useful because now I don't have to ask people for this Pokemon or that Pokemon or whatever. But making it so Pokemon Go is that would be the smartest fucking thing for them. Making it so the version exclusive, you go on Pokemon Go and you go and try and find them. That's what most people, I assume, use it for instead of buying 2 $60 games. But no, everybody probably ponies up and spends $120 a year.
No one spent. Well, very few people do that though. Like people aren't buying 2 games because you can trade with other people for a shit Pokemon.
Yeah. And that shit's all been broken since, Gen 4 when online was available. Oh, it's either hacked, it's broken, or you cannot search anything anyway. So good luck. Shit's stupid. It's stupid. But the fact that they faked everybody out with that shit is so
Hmm.
fucking retarded. It's so stupid.
Well, the thing
I
that
don't
got
know.
me was that like everyone's excitement. Like you have Ishihara, big smile. His face looked
No,
like he
he
was like, "Oh,
looked
you
so excited.
motherfuckers don't know what's coming. You guys are going to be so happy from this announcement." Like that's what his energy showed. And then he just waved, and then he waved again, and he was just gone. And then they brought the hostess out, and she was still like, "And let's reflect on this wonderful world where everyone's expectations were met and everything was great and it was the biggest worlds ever." It's like how can you put a smile on your face knowing you are about to fuck over every single person in the Pokemon community? Like, goddamn. I
And
hate
it
everyone in TPCI.
and it didn't come across like there wasn't more to come.
Hmm.
They seemed so much like everything's about to explode, guys.
Yeah, Nintendo always does the one more thing. Where was that?
And
Where was it?
And at midnight, like at midnight Eastern time, which genuinely, how many people are going to be watching? How many people give enough of a fuck about Worlds that they're going to be watching at midnight
None,
East
yeah.
Coast? Now's your time to do the fucking viral thing. Do it. It'll fucking blow
And
up.
that's the only reason why people are there.
Yeah. They had their chance and they fucking floundered it. And you don't hear fucking Nintendo floundering too much. Normally they're the one that's on top of shit. But no,
And
they floundered it.
yeah. Also, fuck, what was I thinking about on that? Nintendo, I say they do flounder sometimes and just like leaving things on table where it's like I say Nintendo's allergic to money, Pokemon Company's allergic to money. You just localize Pokemon Quest update, like the Chinese only version, make Pokemon Quest 2, $50 million cash right there just for some translations. Why don't they do it? I don't know. That's the kind of stuff that like bothers me where it's like it could be so simple. Or you don't even have to like you need to show gameplay since we have nothing. Like Pokemon Legends Arceus had gameplay when it was revealed in February and then released almost exactly a year later. So it's not like, oh, Pokemon Legends ZA is getting delayed because they need to take their time. The game's going to be better. It's like, you have to have something. You can give us a Mega Evolution tease where like you just show an outline and then the Mega symbol and then everyone's like, they didn't even give us any comfort, any reassurance as to the most non-information they could have given about the game. Like
And
the slightest acknowledgement.
Even if it is a Switch 2 launch title, and I know that's a lot.
You have something to show now.
There is something that you could show and tease that doesn't give that away.
Yeah, because we saw it with Breath of the Wild. Like, Breath of the Wild was not only from the Nintendo Switch, the Wii U, it's still... Bruh, what's happening? I hate everything.
No, and I completely agree. And that's the shitty part is like, guys, there's something here. And the cynical part of me, I'm excited. And I've told you this. I know you're not, but I'm like, guys, I want to see it. I just want to see it. Like, I want to know if I'm going to enjoy this or not. And I know it's fucking far away. I'm probably not even going to have the availability to play it yet. But I want to be able to be excited. Like, you know how excited and hyped I got for H2M? Because it's like the nostalgia of my favorite Call of Duty being able to be played again. I'm like, yes. And then it's like, no, you fucking took it. And then it was available again. And I was like, yes. It's like, Pokemon, you're not giving the availability to be excited about it. I know you like Pokemon Unite. I don't see any positive that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could see where people would be excited. There's change. There's more change in that than Pokemon Go.
That's what baffles me. It's like the Pokemon MOBA was the only thing people wanted in 2013 when like League of Legends was the biggest thing ever. And then Pokemon MOBA came out and no one wanted to even give it a try.
I've never even played a MOBA, so I couldn't tell you and be
But that's why Pokemon Unite was supposed to be. It's like, I've never played a MOBA, but now there's a Pokemon MOBA, so I'm going to get into this. No one cared.
No, and that, like, the level of those announcements, them finally saying, hey guys, we have a date for Pocket. We have the availability for Pocket to go live at this point. That was fucking huge. I like the fact that they did that. They finally gave us something. That was the biggest announcement out of all of it, is when Pocket is launching.
And we already knew about Pocket and 90% of the gameplay.
Yeah. Guys, that's not a huge announcement. It's just not. And I know you were saying, oh, well, the leak showed this, this, and this. No, we still should have had more excitement towards it then, because we knew it was coming. It was verified then. That verifies the leaks, verifies the entire situation. No, this is weird because they're like, oh, huge announcement. Nope, just Pocket. Pocket, and you get 3 Pokemon and fucking Unite, and you get 1 Pokemon Go. Where the fuck is that a huge announcement?
Yeah. Also,
like
the tease for Dynamax doesn't make sense because, like, everyone knows that's Dynamax. So, like, you could just say Dynamax is coming and show a Dynamax battle. It's already been data mined. That was the same thing for all the TCG announcements, because like, oh, trainer Pokemon are back. It's like, yeah, merchandise logs have shown that for the last 3 months. Like, that's already a confirmed set internally.
And even if they're like, okay, marketing-wise, we have to leave there to be a question. We have to leave there to be a want for more information. We're doing it with this show. The titles are a question of some kind or alluding to something within the episodes. That way people watch it. That's how it's supposed to work. As a whole, you're giving them the answer then.
Yeah,
You're
like there's
saying
no
here it is.
question to a purple
There's
cloud.
no information gap. There's nothing available there. And it's
Mhm.
just like, guys, that's not how you do this. You guys should know this better than I do. You should. Everybody should know this. I'm
Yeah.
new.
Did they even put like a question mark like something new is coming? And it's like
No, no.
I thought they said some kind of BS teaser where it's like, but there's no question here. The answer is the cloud and this
Are
in
we
the game.
going to? Are we having a movie crossover with Twisters? No, you're not fucking having a
Hmm.
movie crossover with Twisters. That's the only answer. What the
Castform's
fuck's your
Mega
problem?
Evolution. That's actually going to be a reveal for ZA.
That would have been funny. That would have been cool.
Yeah,
That
like
would have been
if a new Mega Pokemon came out of that cloud, like, oh, that's how you get people excited about your game.
That's what they should have done. In all honesty, Pokemon ZA, let us be your fucking foundation for how you do things. You should have, and you should use Pokemon Go as a way to showcase a fucking mega Pokemon that will be released in Pokemon ZA before Pokemon ZA is even showing it off. Show it and have it in Pokemon Go first. Mega Flygon should be released next month in Pokemon Go and have the next 6-7 months worth of, oh, another month.
Hmm.
Here's another mon. Here's another mega. Here's another form change. You have 4 games that you could showcase these things in. Showcase them because you don't worry about fucking balancing your game anyway. What the fuck is your problem? Just do it.
Yeah, the
Showcase.
announcements don't make any sense.
But if they did that, tell me how crazy everybody would fucking be. They would be so fucking hyped for the next Pokemon Go launch. That is why one Pokemon would matter. A Morpeko, a fucking Pokemon, a Pikachu ripoff? Fuck no.
That's
Nobody
all you have
gives
to
a
do.
fuck.
That's all you have to show for Worlds. Your largest event is then they show more Pico. It doesn't make sense. Like bring us back to 2013, 2016, where it's like that reveal fucking mattered.
Pokemon Go in this launch should have been, and you can catch the 3 new starters from Pokemon ZA tomorrow. And you can see what the new starters are.
There's not new starters, but yeah.
Well,
What if
the
they do?
retypings, or well, even if they do retypings, oh, you have to find the new versions of them. They show.
I don't know. I
slightly
think starters
differently or whatever.
can't be teased outside of the game. But I know where you're coming from. Where it's like, bring a Kalos form. Where it's just like, why does this Pokemon look different? Don't even say it's a Kalos form. Just show a new looking thing and be like, oh, is that an event? Is that a Pokemon Go exclusive? And then like, wait a second, that's a Kalos form for ZA.
Oh wait, they did that with Meltan. Why are we still failing at doing things that you've already done? Guys, you guys should be moving forward.
Bro,
and expanding.
legit, I thought that was a Ditto form. Meltan, when like that was like the
Exactly.
speculation, like this thing ain't its own thing.
Give it a metal coat and see if it evolves. It's stupid. It's stupid that they are not able to execute on the level that me and you could. Why? Why?
Yeah, like how's the marketing team that incompetent?
It's sad.
But you can't give it to like some 4chan fake leaker idiot because then they'll just turn Pokemon into a fanfic series. So there is a line to walk between like, oh, this is a good idea, and this idea ruins the series if you even implement it once.
Fan service is not the way to win over the fans' hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Tease fan service and you will win everybody. I watched Mike Tyson's interview with Logan Paul, and he said something, and it really made a lot of fucking sense to me and kind of made me feel somewhat okay. Guys, being loved is great, but guess what? The second that they don't love you anymore, they no longer give a fuck. But if they hate you, they will love you forever, because if you deliver on that hate, where you deliver on the thing that they don't want you to do, and that's why they hate you, they will always care about anything you do. I'm like, yep. And I thought about it. I was like, you sit here and get complained about by so many fucking people. You get hated on for dumb fucking retarded.
They all say I'm
shit.
irrelevant too, which is weird. No one cares. Well, you clearly care a lot.
Exactly.
To make me your entire life. Well, way to go.
And I've said this to a couple of them that have commented on here. If you do not care about him, then why are you commenting? Oh, I want people to know he's a bad person. No, you are a bad person for wanting to silence other people. You are the bad person. You are the shitty person. What the fuck are we grabbing here? What are you trying to make sense of?
Mm-hmm.
You're not making sense.
Also, like, that also shows, like, fear. Like, you're that scared of me where you, like, hunt me down in other videos and other things to try to warn people about me. But you don't care. No one cares about me. I mean, and also, if I'm irrelevant, then why do you even need to tell people I'm bad? If I'm irrelevant, I don't matter. It's weird.
Exactly. If we're irrelevant, if we have no availability, then we wouldn't be working with the people in the companies that we do. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, I'm irrelevant. Yep. It's okay, dudes. Don't worry about it. I'm shit at my job. I absolutely get no praise. I'm not told that I'm at a level that most people don't understand. You don't understand. Are there things that I might not fully grasp? Abso-fucking-lutely. Are there things like new ideas and stuff that if I just go by my feelings and everything else that might not be executed in the way that I want? Abso-fucking-lutely. Ask Verlis how many different intros that I sent him to be like this one question mark when I was coming up with like a little graphic intro to go from the intro moment into the episode. I sent him like 5 or 6 being like, give me information on what you think. Just so that way we could kind of break something down and have a genuine idea of what you should add.
Man, those suck too.
Some of them were funny, but it's like, okay, a minute's way too long. I understand why that
Yeah,
would
that's
be
what I
too
mean.
long.
We're just like, bro, the music goes on for 37 seconds. You can't. This intro's a minute
No,
long. We lost everyone.
like without an intro moment, I could see where an actual intro, like a show, works. I could see
Hmm.
where that works. But if you're doing an intro moment and then an intro, it
Yeah,
doesn't
you
fucking
didn't
work.
make a customized anime intro of like
No,
crazy shit. So no, got to be 10 seconds max.
exactly. And I think it works with what we got now. And we're seeing growth in fucking watch time too. So obviously it's doing something. It's doing the right things. It's
Hmm.
interesting. So you all know what I don't fucking understand, and I don't know if this is a tism thing or just being stupid or it just being really fucking weird. What the fuck is up with all these VTubers, and why the fuck do all of them have millions of subscribers?
You're like years late. Like the VTubers were blowing up before COVID made everything free for content. I
I
never
understand
understood
that.
it.
I understand that I'm late, but I remember when Kitty, Kyle's old manager, started using a VTuber icon. I was like, that's fucking weird. And then the shit happened with them changing them to all being naked while on Twitch and stuff like that. And I thought that was weird. And I didn't really give it much thought. And then I woke up this morning and I normally let YouTube autoplay and it plays some weird ass shit because I end up watching shit myself. My girlfriend watches shit. The baby watches shit. I use my account for everything because it's so much easier than having 3 different accounts for 3 different things. So it randomly started playing a VTuber's like ranking of all Mario Kart tracks. It's like, okay, that's cool. This dude's using, the crab from fucking Moana that
Hmm.
sings that he's so shiny. He used 6 different pictures of that crab to use him talking. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how the fuck is this available when we have things being taken down for like reusing game assets?
Well, I mean, it's not even the copyright that gets me. It's just like how low quality it is. Even like an animated one that's doing all the weird NPC shit. It's like, but why would any person care to watch that content? Like, okay, the content's mid, the commentary's mid, and all you're doing is having a program auto run something that has bad voice synchronization. Why is that a thing? That's what gets me most about. It's like this does nothing for the content. This doesn't make. And I guess there's like some when it comes to freaks and weirdos that are
Is
plaguing
it
the internet. Like when your brain has rotted from social media, that is the only thing left is that like you somehow can parasocially relate to that.
is it somebody who's so disconnected from everything but wants something calm and level-headed enough that's not like us bouncing around the fucking screen and talking? Like you use
I
your
actually
little
think it's
avatar
like
and
yeah, it
stuff.
might actually just be that tens of millions of people are so antisocial they can't look at a human anymore. And also because Zoomers have like the most brain rot, they need some kind of stimulation, so they can't just look at a picture or an animation. It has to be a humanoid looking thing, fake engaging with them because they have no sense of self left.
And that's where
And
it gets
somehow it's
weird. It's
popular.
like the Call of Duty videos. Remember back in the day where they were no face cam, no nothing. Like
Yeah.
even Mail Monday, there was no face cam. It would just randomly pop up with the note, and then you'd
And
read the
that's my
note, and then it
content
would,
philosophy is like the content's all that matters. It doesn't matter if there's a
yeah,
face cam, it doesn't matter if there's some zoomer animations going on. It doesn't change the quality at all. And if you are
exactly.
bored by it, then you need some fucking help, my dude.
And that's content wise. That's why the shitty answer of the thumbnail is the only thing that matters, not anything inside the video. You could edit your ass off and make a Steven Spielberg movie. If you have 0 people clicking it, nobody fucking cares.
Yeah. And especially with
Nobody
the
cares.
modern YouTube algorithm that prioritizes watch time, or yeah, prioritizes watch time over click through. But click through, like, no one's clicking, then you're in trouble.
Yeah. If you have 0 click through and you're getting 5 views a
But
day,
all 5 of those views
there's no
watched
available.
100% of a 20 like hour video.
It
Like,
doesn't
cool, you're
fucking
not
matter.
getting more, yeah. Because now
Yeah.
that video gets promoted, but 1% of people are clicking on your shitty thumbnail.
Yep.
YouTube's broken. Everything's broken, and then somehow VTubers are getting an egregious amount of audience share.
This dude, and nothing against him, because obviously I would assume,
Not
and
all
this is me,
VTubers are cringe dog shit creators. All of them.
if you're right with their burnout of not being able to be human and seeing something, and it just being like people that are antisocial or autistic, not being able to put their face on camera or feel socially awkward, I understand. I can grasp it enough to understand. But how do you have 3 million subs? How do you have 2 million subs? I don't understand how, when people want human interaction, that's what most people go to YouTube for, is they want a person on the other side because it's like the celebrity that they actually can come in contact with. That's how most people see it.
No, that's not how most people see it.
That's how
Like,
I've
most people aren't here for the
that's how I've heard.
parasocial aspect of YouTube.
I'm saying the people that, if they look at it as these are the people that I consume their content, you're more likely to get in contact with a YouTuber. So I don't understand why they wouldn't find the base of, okay, I want person, and I assume the answer is like autism or something like that, and that disconnect from
That's not a
social.
majority of users or use cases or anything like that. But there is a
Oh,
significant
absolutely.
amount that believe that, sure. But it's not why people use YouTube.
Mm,
And also, YouTube, when they change everything around towards like most of the news channels are now what gets put to the front page, or people aren't watching. Well, actually, yeah, people are watching Mr. V's video thinking they're going to get in, but no one's like watching the YouTube video of a CNN host and going, "I want to talk to them." They're here for the news. They're here for the content. They're here for the
mm.
3 hour fucking. Wow,
But
I
I'm
know what
sure
it's.
that a lot of people will be like, oh, that's not Mr. Beast. It's Jimmy from North Carolina. I know where he grew up. I knew this. I knew that. I knew this. How does that translate when you're watching a VTuber and this dude has 0 availability to be a human? They're the fucking crab from Moana making jokes about how much of a child they are. I don't understand the
That's also why
crossover
COPPA
there.
violations like need to be enforced. That's what's ruining YouTube, is not like stopping the child targeting content as legally dictated.
It
Also,
almost,
video essay. That's it. Like, I don't watch a video essayist and then like have a connection to them. I just want 3 hour bullshit to
you
feed
want the
my mind.
content. Yeah, exactly. And I understand that. That's why I'm saying like there's different parts of the content, but these VTubers, it's
Hmm.
and you just said kids and it kind of clicked. It seems like they are trying to target those kids to click into the video because once they click, they're not going to unclick. And it's like, mommy, click that
Hmm.
one. And then all of a sudden they had millions of views and millions of subscribers because kids just click the
But also,
fucking
no one's
screen.
growing up. All these teenagers and Zoomers on TikTok, they're going to their 20s just as underdeveloped as a child, and they still find VTubing entertaining. But now they have money to throw at the VTuber. It's all fucked.
I don't know. And I know that this isn't a new thing. I understand, but I don't grasp why it's able to be anything.
Because
Like
you are
that
socially adjusted.
it's weird. It really is because I'm like I'm so willing to be like I'm the autistic one. I'm the one that has something wrong with me. I understand. Explain it. And I'm like, no, I still don't grasp it. I still don't understand regardless of how much you explain it. Still don't get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm the one with the tism and don't grasp it, but I don't fucking understand. I just don't. Oh, I don't want to put my camera on. Okay. So then why are you making a YouTube video then? If it's not you you're selling and it's not your content you're selling, then don't. Like I could assume, and this is me assuming, your content that you put your little logo on, the fox or wolf that's jumping with his hand up, those videos may or may not do as good as the last ones. They
Well, I
might
can't
do
know
better.
because of the dislike botting and shadow banning. And I don't, I like I said, I personally think that a face cam or a VTuber or anything like that like doesn't do anything. Well, face cam can for a reaction, but like it isn't necessary to the content. The content is what's being talked about and covered. If I'm doing random Pokemon news is the news. If I'm doing a guide, like actually, yeah, a guide. A guide doesn't need me, my face in the corner there.
Absolutely, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree. Like even if you look at the Call of Duty ones from Drifter or something like that, it's face camless. It absolutely makes sense.
yeah. So that's why that's where I'm at on that. But yeah, late to VTubing. God damn.
No, I'm late to a lot of things. Like I don't understand why a lot of things that have grown in popularity are the way that they are. And I don't know if that's, when we looked at our parents and the adults around us, oh, you're just not with the times. I don't understand why anime has grown. I don't. Is it because we haven't grown up? So everybody that was watching the content that we grew up with kind of just pulled back and just kept watching the same stuff. So they found new things.
I mean, anime makes a lot more sense though because like
Oh, it
all
does.
the Gen
I,
Xers grew up on Saturday morning cartoons with their like fucking action heroes, and now it's just Japanese and looks a little different.
oh, absolutely. I'm not saying that it's the same level of I don't understand
Hmm.
VTubing, but at the same time, it's like there's a lot of things that I don't fully grasp. So it's like, okay, is it this level where I don't grasp it at all, or is it a level where I'm just like, okay, I'm out of touch?
Hmm.
And like I was having a talk with my son, and he's starting to get to that level where he's just all memes all the time. And I'm like, you need to have something of substance come out of your mouth. You need to be able to explain what the fuck you're trying to say, because you telling me something is Ohio and skibbity toilet. I have no fucking idea what the fuck you're saying. So if you cannot
Yeah, it's
explain to
different.
me, I was like, if you can't explain something to me or you can't explain what it means, you can't say it. I'd
Yeah.
rather you use old slang than new slang if you can actually fucking explain what it means.
I mean, like even the '90s slang made infinitely more sense. You call something bogus, and it's like you can pick up on the word, like where that word is trying to go.
Exactly. Like when we had Woody on, I had a game that I started planning for, and it was explain these Zoomer words, and I was going to see which one of you guys got more of them. And it's just like,
I
what the
mean, most of them are
fuck?
just nonsense for the sake of being nonsense. Lit is the only good one because, like, oh, that's fire, that's good, that's hot.
It's like, okay, NPC makes sense. Yeah, I understand. What the fuck is a gyat? What the
But I
fuck is
Google
it?
this stuff; it doesn't make sense.
It means ass, but it seems like when they use it in context of a sentence, they're talking about like, when you see a pussy
Hmm.
and the hips go up, it seems like they're talking about that. No, they're not fucking talking about that. They're talking about ass still. What the fuck are you talking about? It doesn't make sense because it's vague enough to the point where it just doesn't fucking
I mean,
work.
I think it's a perfect encapsulation of how much brain rot these younger generations have from social media, where like it's just complete it's actual gibberish, and not even
Mhm.
they know what they mean. They just hear some people say it, and then they just
And they're
repeat it.
throw and they're throwing words together that absolutely don't flow and make a sentence. They're
It's
like skibbity
illiteracy.
toilet Ohio drip. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck did you just say? Because even looking at the definitions of those phrases, that's not a
They actually
sentence.
do not have definitions. Like that is just the fact of it. It's just gibberish and buzzwords, and by saying that, you are just like showing that you are that.
That's like
It's
us
all filler.
saying it's cool, the bomb drip, all that's lit.
Yeah.
What the fuck would that have meant in the fucking early
It's the
2000s?
energy of the what those words you said mean. So it's like, oh, now I have an idea of your emotional state instead of your literate state.
And it's just like it's making me sound like a dope. So
I'm busting on the skibidi for real. You have an idea of how I'm feeling about it, but it didn't mean anything.
I have no fucking idea what the fuck you meant at all. Um, so here's a crazy fucking thing. Gen Z are now starting to go into the workforce and stuff like that. What percentage of those Gen Z people that go into a job interview do you feel bring their parents along to the job interview as a way to sell them?
40%.
65 fucking percent.
That kind of goes back to
65
like
fucking
the
percent.
food ordering anxiety.
What the fuck are we doing with these people? What the fuck is going on? Because I genuinely don't understand. Like, I remember, it's like when you go into a job interview, It's sell yourself the best you can, or if it's just a normal job, don't even worry about selling yourself because that doesn't fucking matter. If you're going to work at big box store doesn't care. That's a human in front of you.
Mhm.
Become a human, make the person connect and sell yourself. In that way, selling yourself as a whole to a huge company isn't fucking valuable. You're not going to win any brownie points. But if it's a one-to-one or like a huge, like a medium-sized company that somebody grew, you could sell yourself and actually make yourself something. I just fucking connected with people. Why is that so hard for people to fucking do?
Because no one's connecting or socializing. And as I said, they're all underdeveloped. Like these are 20-year-old actual children. These same level of intelligence, same level of socialization as an actual child, which is why they need to have other people order for them and they need to hold like they need their parents holding their hand during a job interview. Like physically actually there, which is insane. But we've also been seeing this coddling forever in like the universities and stuff. Millennials are fucked up because they got babied through what is supposed to be a challenging educational time. Instead, they just got all their free shit and then like the college became their parents and now they're indoctrinated. Great. Now it's even happening younger and for dumber reasons.
Yeah, and it's just becoming more and more fucked up. They're allowed to say more and more exaggerated things, and it's like, guys, this isn't the way. This isn't the way. It makes zero fucking sense. So, did you hear about the crazy Olympic shit that's gone on? And not like shit that happened during the Olympics, but like the
No, I saw that
thieves
topic.
that
I
were
was like, I haven't heard
happening.
anything about this topic.
Okay, so first off, nobody gives a fuck about the Olympics anymore. Let's just state that there's funny stories that come out of it, like the breakdancer, but that shit's been done
Oh,
so
that
far to
breakdancer was
death.
so funny. But that's also what it's like. Oh yeah, this gives me less reason to watch anything Olympics after the opening ceremony was just like, oh,
Woke,
here's
woke,
my
woke,
big thing
woke,
on the
woke.
world. What?
It's woke, 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 woke,
Yeah.
woke.
But also, here's my thing. Like, here's a big thing I saw where it's like, yeah, this is just the truth, and I think everyone needs to be reminded. When someone tells you what they are, believe them.
Yep.
It's not like oh we're playing a joke on all these conservatives on the largest sports event in the world by we're just pretending to be Satanists. We're just pretending to shit on your values because it gives you a roots. Like no, they were doing exactly what their goals are. All those conspiracy theories about whatever the globalists are up to and whatever they're trying to do to destroy Western values. They have shown that on display at the Oscars or whatever award ceremony, at the Olympics, at all these major televised events,
Mhm.
when they keep everything's coded in red. Everything is a sacrificial something or an analogy
Analogy.
for yeah. I wanted to say allegory, but like it's all representative. Instead of like actually like taking a live sheep and stabbing it and then like showing that to everyone, they do something similar to that. There's always a
There was a dude
metaphor.
who was flashing his balls and dick in the fucking opening ceremonies,
Yeah.
and it was shown on live cable TV. What are you
That's also
talking
like
about,
the
people?
yeah. The whole pride thing isn't about sexuality, even though that's like the
That's what it
entire
was.
yeah, that's what
That's
it
the
was
entire
before
thing.
2014. Before 2014 is all about sexual pride and liberation, but now it's not. And then someone sneaks in a little bit of sexual liberation. That's not happening. They coat everything in red, and then they have satanic upside down imagery and shit on fire. That's not satanic. You're just crazy conspiracy theorists, and we like giving you a ruse. It's like no, when
And
someone tells you what they are, believe them. It's the narcissism of their beliefs. They can't
and
not tell someone. That's
this
how
story
some people get caught when they're just like, I got some stuff.
and this story absolutely shows exactly what the fuck the world sees us as. So I guess in Paris there is still a pickpocketing problem, which as an American, I don't really see this as a big issue. This happens everywhere kind of thing.
I mean, I've
I've
been
only
hearing
heard
that
of
forever, decades. Yeah, where it's like you got to watch out because they got all these weird little tricks. Someone drops something in front of you, don't pick it up
exactly.
because they got a guy behind you ready to grab your wallet.
Like you hear all those Disney movies and stuff be like, oh, pickpocketers happen, blah, 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 or they're the bad guy in the movie, or they're the sympathetic person. Like you think that that's just movie shit. And that could just be my retardation. But so France thought that we were going to be the gullible ones with from the pickpocketers perspective. We were going to be bringing lots of money over there
Yeah,
and
like
stuff
all
like
these
that.
stupid Americans, easy target.
The thieves were starting to complain about how brutalized and affected that they were actually being. They were being punched and hit and everything else because they thought it was funny to keep trying to reach in people's pockets and take shit. So they're like, okay, guys, the Olympics is over. It's going to be better now. Let's start going back to our job, because this is their job, to steal money from you.
Yeah, tourists. Yeah.
And Americans were like, okay, we're going to stay later and we're going to do some social experiments, because our entire life's on YouTube now, guys. Which is why I think, there's that level of non-anonymity which brings people to YouTube. Guess I'm wrong, but they bought fake Louis Vuitton bags and purses and had them shipped there, and were staying there like a week or two after the Olympics. And they started shitting in them. And I guess one of the people that they had with them was like a manufacturer of some kind, and caused it to, when it was unzipped, it lit a fire on the shit that they put in the bottom of the bag. So you open the bag, catches fire, just like the old classical, I'm going to shit in a paper bag, light it on fire, ring your doorbell, and run away shit. So they were going into Paris with fucking shit bags that would light on fire whenever somebody took it and opened it up to look to see if there was money. And all of this is on film, I guess. So now there is thieves that are opening up fucking fake Louis Vuitton bags and having fiery shit explode into their face as they open them up to look to see if there's money in them, as like old school classic pranks from like pre-YouTube days. You can't do this shit on YouTube anymore and it be real. This is real because these retards have no idea what the fuck a normal life is. And they're just opening up these bags that people are purchasing to have explode in their face. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Thieves are being hurt and people are feeling bad about it. Why? What the fuck is going on?
From what my take on like Europe, it's just lost over there. Like actual criminals are the ones getting defended, and the people that are trying to stop the criminals are the ones getting punished more and more, because that's getting in the way of the societal disruption that
Not
the
only is
governments are going for.
Not only is it backwards, it seems like they're behind. And for so long, we've been told since like Obama's era that we were behind in so many things, and it's like we're still not behind in logic somehow, and I'm really kind of confused by it. We would have picked up on the shit bag like when it stunk, and yet these motherfuckers are picking it up, opening it, and having to stomp shit everywhere. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that we were told we were so far behind in literacy and intelligence that these Parisians are falling for this shit. It's just illogical at some point.
Also, just when you hear it's like, oh, all these crime rates are going up, but you're not allowed to talk about the crime rates, or you go to jail, and the person that like SA'd a 12-year-old is the one that gets 6 months because they don't know any better. It's like, wow, that's
Not
happening
even
every
just
day
that.
now.
That PDF that was in the Olympics, he was an Olympian.
Oh yeah, I remember that story. Yeah.
They had him signing children's shirts. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
How do they let him in? It's like it's a deliberate destruction of their society, and then they're the ones saying we're behind. It's like, yeah, what you guys are doing ain't progressive. You can keep that.
Like, at some point, in the vague undertones, treat everybody as a human. I could understand, but they once again are not showing they're human. They're showing that they're a fucking negative part of society. Stop giving them validation, and let's just keep validating them.
They don't know any better. They made a mistake. You see, that's the true ascendancy to show you have the ultimate humanity, is that much compassion for scum.
Like, the big thing right now, and I don't know if you saw this, they're saying that Trump might come out and say that he wants the death penalty for PDFs and essays. And it's just like, awesome. How do we fix the void of all of these people that are being falsely accused, though? Because this could get really gross really fucking quickly.
Well, usually, like, death penalty needs, like, absolute 100%. Like, there's no other way. Even with AI, like, to a degree, there's only so many alibis or so far that can go where it's, like, you are on camera doing that, or your genetic material is there. Like, can't completely AI everything. about the story. People still get caught.
Well, we saw the witch hunt of this shit literally happen this month. Did you hear about the Mr. T Lexify shit?
No.
Okay, so Mr. T Lexify is a Call of Duty Zombies YouTuber. And he was dating this girl, Reagan, that I guess was a fan at first and told him obscene things that she did when she was underage. And then they ended up getting together when she was about 18. And then they were in a relationship for 2 years or so. She came out saying that he groomed her and everything else with zero proof, just the story. It's like this happened, that happened.
Since we
So
were dating
Mr.
when I was around 18, I was obviously groomed. That's all the evidence.
And she fucked a 17-year-old at 24. He's like, she is a PDF, not me. I did not want any of this, and yet she made everything race baiting into daddy this or daddy that. And I was like, holy shit. And I watched a full breakdown on it, and he has text message receipts for every single fucking problem she brought up. I'm like, holy shit. The validity that some people are going through to destroy some people's lives is crazy. And the fact that so many of these people now are losing is really interesting, because right now we're seeing Rakeda win at every single level. He's now gotten his kids back. Congrats, Nick, because that's fucking huge. He's beating his case. And the dude that he was cucking with the other chick that was there is like been put on blast to where he cannot speak about the entire case because he's speaking too negatively about it and showing that he's sour. I'm like, that's a win. Mr. T Lexify coming out and proving everything that his ex said is wrong, and that she's gaslighting entire fan bases to fire or kick him is insane. How do you win in these things? Because back in the day, we used to not be able to. Back in the day, you say one weird thing and all of a sudden you're under fire. It gives me a lot of hope, because I know that everything I'm dealing with right now, and this is why I gave myself a week to kind of calm down and relax. And I'm saying this the day before what was supposed to be my 15th anniversary with my ex-wife. Tomorrow is 15 years that we were supposed to be together. And my disagreement with our divorce goes live tomorrow on the 15th anniversary of our divorce. Knowing that she has borderline personality disorder and absolutely destroys everything she fucking touches. I am a social fucking person now. I am on social media for my job. At any point in time, she can say whatever the fuck she wants, and if I don't have receipts for it, it's a fucking big blow up. It's like, this is hell. This is hell, because these people, these fucking so sick people, it is so hard to just look at all these people that are so sick and so distraught, because they will destroy your entire fucking life if you let them.
Yeah, and that's just like how the core of evil has gone for almost forever, but you can feel it more recently, probably because like it's just more publicized on social media through the existence where accountability. No one wants to take it, so it's easier to just take someone else down, and then you preserve everything.
So in family court, 95% of the time, I assume that there's probably some positive times, but 95% of the time, the children are given to the mother without question. If the mother says something, it's accepted. They hold custody. They're given custody first. And even if you prove them wrong, it doesn't resort back to, okay, now this is a question. It's just,
Oh yeah.
well, they're already given it.
I've heard some crazy shit growing up with like friends of family where like the kids are begging, "No, mom is crazy. Please give us dad. Like don't even like let her ever see us again." And it's like full custody to the mom. That's happened in my circles.
It happened 2 years ago to my kids. I
All
had
right,
full
even
custody of
crazier,
my,
yeah.
and I can't speak about all of this. We're going to have some fun in like 6 months. We're going to blow everybody's fucking minds, but I'll lean into a little bit. About 3 years ago, we went into being separated. I found a whole bunch of shit, and I took care of all 3 kids by myself without problems. I started PKA. I started growing this show. I did a lot of things with very, very, very little time, energy, or effort. That's why I say, you guys have seen me in my 3 worst years of my life, and I'm not being negative about it. I'm saying, let's go. Let's keep going, because I know that this can work. I know that this can happen. Just because you guys are seeing a problem isn't because I'm not caring. It's because I'm burnt the fuck out. I had them for 2 full years by myself. No help. Nobody came and helped me put the baby to bed before I started streaming. I did it all. I was up every single time that baby was up, every 3 hours. I streamed in between those times. My wife decided to message my daughter, "Oh, I'm going to take you. This is what I need you to say to CPS and the lawyers and everything." And I had it in writing. What they did, they removed me out of the picture and said I needed to prove myself that I wasn't being abusive. When I wasn't, I was granted all full rights back, 50-50. I just wasn't given the custody that I had before. You wanna know what's crazy? If I was a woman, those kids would have been handed back to me, and it would have resorted back to 100% me, because it would have been found a lie, like it was. I was
Yeah, that's
given
crazy.
back 50-50. I was given back availability to see my kids when I had to prove myself. I proved myself. I'm not giving back the same rights. It's fucking crazy. So it's scary, because it's like at any time I could lose fucking everything, because, I'm not given the same respect. It's crazy to see that there are people now and things going on now where that level of respect is now being demanded. We're seeing it live. We're seeing it in living color of, no, this is going to happen. I have over 800 text messages and pictures of shit that has gone on in my relationship that I will just release, and if I need it. If I need to be protected, I have everything to protect me. I have 3 years of stories that are not in that story list. How many times have I told you? I
Yeah.
haven't talked about anything that's happened. And this is the
And then you
latest
also
shit.
were like, can't talk about it. Let's next topic.
Yeah, no, I'll touch on it. I'll give an update. I'll give an availability, but I won't go into crazy levels of shit. But the shitty part about this is, and this case is closed, so I guess I can talk about this one. There was pending sexual abuse charges on my wife's boyfriend. They gave me my oldest daughter full custody without question. They let me speak for her in court, saying what she told me and what was going on. But they didn't want to deal with the question of the other 2 kids, because my wife intimidated my son in order not to say something. Because that's the easier way to go about it, so way people aren't upset. Motherfucker, it doesn't matter if they're upset. It doesn't matter. My baby is literally screaming now not to leave. My 4-year-old. My 4-year-old doesn't want to leave her dad because something is wrong. Babies don't scream, they don't want to leave. Babies don't do that. And that's where it gets crazy, because a week ago, I got told this. Your girlfriend posted something negative about about mommy, dad. How are you going to handle it? What are you talking about? That, first off, that's fucking stalking. That's fucking crazy. If you're not on my Facebook, why the fuck are you looking at it? Let alone somebody who's not a part of the fucking situation. You're just trying to harm a relationship that's not yours. So you're not replaced. So you don't feel replaced. And that to me is so fucking sickening. It's so fucking ridiculous. That shouldn't be a fucking problem. When nothing was fucking posted. Nothing was posted for 3.5 weeks. Other than something else I can't talk about. Nothing. Zero. I looked. Oh, harassment. What the fuck are you talking about? You're just saying things to a kid who doesn't fucking understand, so that way you can control the way they feel.
The weird thing is like that's also now what kids are considering, where it's just like they are brought into that, and that's like the social media world where it's like, oh, someone said something like this on social media. It's like, wait, how young are you, and why the fuck do you know that this is how it works and it's bullshit? It's like, huh, that's how it goes now.
No, and it sucks. It sucks because I'm the man, so I'm told to shut up. And whatever's done out of my house doesn't fucking matter. Where the fuck is that equal? Where is that any bit logical? So one parent can say whatever the fuck they want. The other parent has proof and negativity towards everything that's going on, but yet they are the negative one. It's like, what the fuck's going on? This isn't equal. This isn't how things work. This isn't how it goes. I don't understand.
I
I
mean,
genuinely don't.
that's my YouTube where it's like this person's cheating. You're the evil bad actor, negative, always pessimistic, one toxic Verlisify. It's like that's just the facts of what's happening. My bad for saying it.
I don't know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because like I just want to blow up. And it's like, okay, everybody can run around, throw a hissy fit and stomp their feet and whine and cry about everything. But because I've been calm, level-headed, and acceptable in the situation, guess what is my standard of what I have to be always? I'm not allowed to blow up. I'm not allowed to lose my shit because if I do, it's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. Like how much room other people are given to screw up, and you're not allowed to screw up once ever.
It's not even screw up. It's not even screw up. So when we went back to court after I was given full custody of my daughter, I told my son, "Hey, on the court documentation, it says my name, your name, and my oldest daughter's name. It says we are summoned to court. I don't want you to be caught off guard when it says that you have to be there, or you to feel like you need to be anxious about this. But the paperwork says your name as well. I don't know if you're going to be called in. I don't know if you have to be there, but I want to let you know." Being transparent with my kid. Hey, bud, you might be questioned. You might be asked what's going on. Not telling you what to say, telling you that the question might be asked. My wife said, well, he's telling my son that he needs to leave me now, blah, 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 blah. Oh, he said that he needs to come to court and he needs to say that everything he's doing is right. Nope, not what I said at all. The judge heard it and was like, hey, guess what? You can no longer talk to your kids about anything that's going on. It's like, what the fuck? So I have to go completely blind. I have to go completely hoping that I'm doing the right thing by their intentions and what the hell's going on. That's fucking insane. That's fucking crazy. I don't know, man. As much as this world is getting fixed and going back the right way,
I don't think anything's getting fixed. I've been on that copium since 2015. Like, surely it reverses. Surely this reverses.
you don't think language is going back the other way, where it's
Not
becoming
enough.
less
Like,
stringent? No, I'm
cool.
not saying
In
enough.
2014 we've gone
but
back to 2021. I don't know. Like
I don't know.
I don't see a reversal that actually gives me any confidence because we've seen other shift backs where it's just like when the social commentary anti-SGW YouTube was like huge with all that. It's like,
Mm.
oh wait, we're getting some ground back, and then nope, and then it's like, well, surely with all these PDFs and all these other nope, but nope. Like, and there's no like it's just too much division. There's too much division to actually gain anything back, and too much uncertainty about anything going on. And you can even see that with like all the weird stuff going on with the current presidential situation.
Yeah.
We already forgot
It
that Trump was almost assassinated, and Kamala just no one
was
voted for her, but now
forced.
she's the
Yeah.
representative.
And it's weird. Like, and we even have this problem. How many times have we talked and we're like, okay, even most recently, and I'll use that example because I don't care. I was asked if Gavin could come on, if we wanted to have Milo on. We had an open conversation about it. Okay, what is this going to do YouTube search wise? Is it
Yeah.
going to affect
I
the
would love to
show?
talk with Milo, but we would be deleted immediately and lose all of our sponsors.
I'd love to talk to Gavin too. And it's just like, okay, do we risk it? Is the
No.
value of what could happen valuable? And it's just like, oh.
And what that means is we're not even back at 2017, and I thought shit was already collapsing in 2017. So we haven't even gone, like, it hasn't reversed that much where it's like, oh, it's safe to bring Milo on. It's safe to mention Alex Jones. It's not. So we're not gaining the ground we think we're gaining. And I think it's just the division where, somehow we're simultaneously in this strong Bidenomic economy, but Kamala's going to fix every problem when she gets in, even though she's already in. Everyone's stupid. Nothing makes sense. It's over. So no, I don't think anything's getting better.
Nope. I think I just figured it out. I think the people that think that it's getting better are the people that do things and are very, very active in person. Interpersonally, you're not being canceled for things. You can say retard, you can say dipshit, you can say whatever the fuck you want openly in person, and it's not going to affect you in the way that if you're typing that on Twitter or typing that on Facebook, you might genuinely have a problem.
No, I thought I was safe with my friends, and I said that I don't even like saying retard, even though like you're the one saying it. But yeah, I said that around my friends, like, you can't say that. I'm like, bro, we're playing League of Legends. We should be allowed to say it. But no, like the fucking mind virus is taking over.
I don't know. Like, to me, I always resort back to, okay, could it be said in a city by me? Could I walk into the city?
Yeah, that's actually funny when like you actually think about the words.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, can I walk in the city and this will cause a problem? No, most of the time.
I love those jokes where it's like, you're not allowed to say that. It's like, what do you mean? I can say retard, but I don't say the other words. We refer it as that word. The letter word.
There are two words that I can walk into a city and I cannot say. I could go back around
There's
my
more
friends.
than two, but two definitely.
Yeah, but like two phrases that are like, these two are absolutely zero. Everything else doesn't cause a problem. How many people will stop you because you say retard? I don't think very many.
Depends on the city.
You could go in New York City and absolutely nobody would give a fuck, especially if you're confident and actually having a conversation and you're not stuttering and like uncomfortable in saying it. If you talk like a normal person, most people just flow with the confidence of it's just a normal conversation. And I think that's exactly where that disconnect is right now. Is online, we're not at 2017. We're not. But I think the world is back to 2019-ish. Not touching that 2017 Milo era, but we're getting back to going there.
2019 was still felt like, oh, it's over, bros.
But in person, we're starting to actually have that dialect of free-flowing conversation almost. There are the people on the very, very far left that will shut down any conversation, but they're shutting down any conversation regardless. Like, there's no change in them. But it seems like a lot of the people in the middle are no longer accepting that division in conversation. And I think that's where a lot of people are saying that there's possibility of things being accepted again. And like, you see it on Twitter. Obviously, you don't see it other places, but Twitter and Rumble definitely showcase that in a different light.
Well, I don't know. I feel like if you went to like Seattle or Portland, really any of the West Coast major cities, and just like said something like that, everyone would pull out their phone and start making a TikTok video like, say it again. You're the bigot. Like, that's the energy out here.
I am one.
Yeah, but now they just be like, nah, you're just a fascist and you can't take that word from the actual people that need it. No matter how, like, you could pull out a card that's like signed by doctors, like, you're not allowed to appropriate mental illness terms.
Motherfucker, your mental illness terms were the thing that created autism. So if I'm autistic, I'm technically, in some ways, you put them under these guidelines. I'm sorry, you're the one that changed it. You're the one that made it available to be connected. That's on you. I'm a retard. I can't help that. I can speak negatively about myself in any way I want. It may not be politically correct, but I had a fucking thought line that I completely lost. Fucking hell. But yeah, no, it's really fucking weird. And I think that there are parts where we are going backwards, but not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Rewind me. What did you say? Go to Seattle?
Yeah, you go to Seattle, like you can't say anything. They'll accost you and pull out their phones and get you canceled. They'll be doxxed in
Yeah,
2 hours if you just go on the streets of Seattle and start yelling stuff. Not even the bad stuff.
it's weird, isn't it? It's like you could become a viral sensation for saying that you get blowjobs and you spit on that thing, and you could be an internet sensation that makes millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, you get love for degenerate stuff, of course.
It
That goes
doesn't.
back to the little Satanism and all this co-option where it's like, yeah, anything that feeds the demons will get you popular. Anything, yeah, like that.
Well, it cycles back to that Tyson quote. If you're the one that is hated, and hate makes money. Hate makes
Doesn't
money.
doesn't. I'm proof of that. Because there's a point where you do get canceled and there is no returning. I have like what PewDiePie said when he was playing PUBG. He still has his G Fuel sponsorship. He came back from that. Like how? Same thing with all these other things where like I was talking about Sacred in the Pokemon community, Sacred Almighty. He actually told people to drink bleach. I never did. I'm the one that's not allowed to speak or be alive in the Pokemon community.
The things that I don't understand, especially with your shit, and I know you're not going to be unbiased in saying this, but regardless, whatever. How do people that say the same things in COD lobbies that you said are
No, I don't
then no
say COD
longer
lobby shit.
accepted?
I am dieted down. I don't even say
I
close.
know,
There's
but
nothing on
I'm
that.
saying like even that example of Sacred saying it and you saying a toned down version of it, you're not accepted, but Sacred is. I think both of you guys should be accepted. Both of you guys should be allowed to talk.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I mean.
how
Like
things should be.
either I get like everyone gets canceled or no one gets canceled in the situation with me because I've never said anything as bad as everyone else has said or done. But whatever, sure.
And that's why I think that the whole no apologies, just go scorched earth works the best. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't.
That's why it didn't work.
Milo got canceled because everybody rallied against him for saying something that was the most milquetoast thing that came out of that motherfucker's mouth. He said something negative about Leslie Jones. What movie has Leslie Jones ever done that anybody likes? Anybody. The only time I've ever heard of her is that Ghostbusters movie, and I heard that she played a very, very stereotypical character and did a horrible job at it. What part of that doesn't make sense? Why does Milo get canceled for that? Not the sentence of he had a gun put to his head while he's being fucked from behind. That story's cancelable a hell of a lot more than saying somebody's bad actor.
I mean, no, he got canceled for the thing where he was like apologetic towards the people that groomed him more than the Leslie Jones thing.
The Leslie Jones thing was the thing that removed him from Twitter completely.
Yeah, but he was already like canceled before then.
But blowing up too.
Yeah.
And honestly, him feeling negatively for the people that abused him is the most normal thing for abused kids to do.
You mean positively? You said negatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my son the other day, he's like, yeah, well, my mom leaves me to go smoke cigarettes all day almost, and it's my job to watch my sister. I was like, whoa, wait, hold on. Rewind that. Because that's the same problem that was happening with my oldest. It was part of the situation. Why are you saying this still is happening when she was already taken? One kid was already taken because of it. And then he's like, wait, well, she doesn't say I have to watch her, but I watch her so that way she's okay. I'm like, no, you just are told that you don't have the responsibility. If she fell while she was eating dinner and you were in the other room, you would get yelled at. That's where it's not okay. That's not how things should work. But it's the basic standard for most kids that are abused is to protect the people if they mattered to them because it's the way that they feel comfort. It's the way that they feel like they're a human. It's the way that they, even after dealing with all my abuse, I still looked for my dad at my graduation after I didn't talk to him for 7 years. I finally became verbal and out about the abuse afterwards. I still looked for that validation because everybody looks for validation in that way, regardless of if there's a negative situation or not. And him being open and saying, I wanted it is kind of that same childhood mentality of just accepting that it happened. And, you don't want your control taken away. And hopefully I've skated past this in a positive way so that way it doesn't sound retarded.
No, like you threw too many downers into this episode.
Nah, there's no downers in this episode. It's all fire.
If you believe so, we can have the comments decide down below for the 3 people that are watching 99.8% into the retention.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. We'll see you fucking next time. Bye.